Komon-Tok. We the talk and right, we the talk and clear from Sierra Leone to everywhere. Oh yeah. Komon-Tok, come make me hear. From the streets of Freetown to the world beyond, we dey yarn about the things we dey hold strong. Political talks, we no go shy. Migration stories should no go die. Entertainment, we go dance to the beat. Health and well-being, make we rise from we sit. It's not a platform, we go speak the truth for the young and the old. Now we voice we do. Komon-Tok, you gon' hear me loud. We no go hide, we gon' make me proud. First I know to the world, we dey stand tall. Oh yeah, we are. Oh yeah, we message for. From politics to health, we stand firm. Migration of us, we come from. Komon-Tok, place to be with the young and care for you and me. Komon-Tok, oh yeah, we did. For the future, we pave the way. We talk about
in 1945, most of Africa had no voice. Today, Africa remains the only continent without permanent representation, despite African issues dominating the Council's agenda. This exclusion, a relic of bygone era, is a profound injustice. Decisions about Africa must no longer be taken without Africa. 80 years after the establishment of the United Nations, the Security Council still operates under a structure that excludes Africa. This not only undermines the Council's credibility, but also challenges the universality of the UN as a whole. Today, therefore, I must restate Africa's clear and legitimate demand. To the permanent members, I reiterate that recognition should be accompanied by a genuine political willingness to take action. To member states involved in the intergovernmental negotiations, let us use the structured dialogue to build consensus on outcomes rather than recycle entrenched positions. To the wider United Nations membership, as the UN marks its 80th anniversary, let us not allow another milestone to pass with words alone. The Pact for the Future gives us the mandate. The Africa reform model adopted by C10, rooted in Eswatini and SAT common African position, provides the blueprint for reform. The momentum is here. The time for action is now. Africa will continue to engage constructively. Let there be no doubt. Our demand is legitimate, non-negotiable, and just. Equal representation for Africa is not only an African imperative, it is a global necessity. It is essential for the credibility, effectiveness, and legitimacy of the United Nations in this century. As we commemorate 20 years of Eswatini and SAT, let history record that Africa stood together, firm and resolute, to reclaim its rightful place. Let this generation of leaders be remembered for correcting an injustice that has been endured for far too long, and for ensuring that the Security Council reflects the current state of the world rather than how it was in 1945. Thank you for your attention. And I invite Her Excellency Netumbo Nandi Daiwa, President of Namibia.
Thank you, Your Excellency Julius Maad Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and Coordinator of the African Union Committee of 10, Heads of State and Government on the United Nations Security Council reform, Your Excellency Joao Manuel Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and Chairperson of the African Union, Chairperson of the African Union, Your Excellencies, Heads of States, ladies and gentlemen. 20 years ago, African leaders have agreed and adopted the African Common Position on the reform of the UN Security Council, thus become a roadmap, well-known document as Wiener Consensus and the Ceres Declaration. Subsequently, a committee of 10 heads of state and government of the AU was set up to spearhead the African Common Position. Today, we are here to reflect on the work we have started 20 years ago. Those pivotal documents, born from our collective desire and unwavering commitment to Africa's progress and unity, have played an instrumental role in further shaping our continent's vision to being a dynamic force in the global arena. Your Excellencies, the 8th anniversary of the United Nations is an opportune time for us to reflect on the values and the principles upon which this organization is grounded. Our repeated call for a united nation that is fit for purpose, representatives, and reflects of a present-day reality has become imperative. Africa deserves permanency at all global decision forums, especially those seized with making decisions related to the maintenance of international peace and security. For 2 decades, the Common African Position has gained traction with broader support from many interested groups. This is our reminder that our quest to redress historical injustice and advance equality for a more inclusive and representative Security Council is just and commonly shared. Allow me to acknowledge with gratitude the immense support from all interested groups for the Common Africa Position, which culminated in the recognition of Africa as a priority and a special case in the reform process, as reflected in the outcome document of relevant United Nations process, including the PEC for the future. While the reform process continues, Africa should be proud to have sustained a unified voice within the intergovernmental negotiation since the inception of this process. As we prepare to submit the Africa model on UN reform, we call on the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council to lend their support to us, to stand on the right side of history, and to ensure justice for future generations. Africa is not asking for handouts. We are demanding our rightful place in a council that is tasked with the maintenance of international peace and security, a matter that greatly concerns us, our children, and our children's children. Chairperson, as I conclude, I wish to state that 2025 also marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Conference on Women, and the 25th anniversary of the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. Therefore, as Africa strives for equal representation in the world's premier peace and security body, we must also ensure that African women and women from other parts of the world are equally participating in important peace and security decision-making platform at the national, sub-regional, continental, and international level. I will not end without thanking Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, for the great leadership you have provided to the C10 as a coordinator over the years. Your leadership is highly commendable and is bearing fruits for Africa. I thank you.
I thank my dear sister. We now go to the Vice President of Equatorial Guinea. You have the floor, please.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I take the floor on behalf and in representation of His Excellency Obiang Igang Sogo, President of the Equatorial Guinea, to express our acknowledgement of your in your position as the coordinator of the C10, your leadership, your strong commitment defending the common African position within the reforms of the Security Council. Would like to thank you for the initiative of gathering this summit in the during the high-level General Assembly week. Today we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Sirte Declaration and of the Eswatini Council, two historical instruments that shaped the common African position on the reform of the Security Council. After 2 decades, it shows strongly the soundness of our unity and the fairness of our demands in the global agenda. While it is true that throughout these 20 years, the African position is well known, it has greater and greater support. We mustn't forget that while we're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the UN, the historic injustice against Africa persists. It is important to point that out because while we reiterate the values defended in the Charter of the UN, the African continent, with its geopolitical importance, its population, and contributions to peace and security, continue to be excluded from permanent membership in the Security Council. So it is not well represented as a non-permanent member. This undermines the legitimacy and credibility and efficiency of the UN. Mr. Chairman, the 80th anniversary of the UN is a critical crossroad to promote the international commitment in view of the Compact for the Future, which says that Africa must be recognized as a special case and as a priority in the process of the reform of the Security Council. It is essential for us to now present and defend the AU model on the reforms of the Council while we have intergovernmental negotiations. We must promote this reform process. It is necessary. We don't need to reiterate our position. The future of the UN depends on its capacity to transform and respond to current reality. A Security Council that continues to exclude the African continent cannot speak with moral authority in today's world. The African Union's model on the Security Council reform is the only model that guarantees equity, corrects the exclusion, strengthens the legitimacy of the Security Council. Just to conclude, I would like to briefly point out that if we continue, if the reform continues on these endless debates about whether Africa deserves or not its place as a permanent member on adequate and an inadequate representation as non-permanent, then the process runs the risk of losing its credibility and purpose. How many more declarations, pacts, results must we have repeating what we've known for so long? Africans' exclusion constitutes an injustice. Before taking concrete steps, how many more intergovernmental negotiations must we have? We cannot reach 100 years of these organizations and celebrate that if this injustice persists. Our voice must be high and clear. We cannot continue to accept to have these perpetual debates that end up in just no tangible recognition. Thank you very much.
I thank the Vice President for his intervention. I now give the floor to the Vice President of Uganda. You have the floor, please.
Your Excellency Manuel Lorenzo, President of Angola and Chair of the African Union, Your Excellency Mada Bio, President of Sierra Leone and Coordinator of the C10 and also Chair of this session, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, the Chairperson of the African Union, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I thank Your Excellency Dr. Julius Mada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, for convening this 7th summit of the Committee of 10 African Union Heads of State and Government on the reform of the United Nations Security Council at this important time when we mark the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. I also express deep appreciation to Your Excellency Mada Bio as the coordinator of the C10 and the entire leadership of the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone for the unwavering commitment to advancing the common African position on the reform of the United Nations Security Council since its adoption in 2005 and for keeping Africa solidly united. There is no doubt that the C10 has made significant progress in promoting, advocating, and canvassing for the support of the common African position through diplomatic engagements with several relevant stakeholders and interest groups within the intergovernmental negotiation frameworks and other multilateral levels. Uganda remains committed to the mandate given to us by the African Union to promote, advocate, and canvass for support of the common African position on the reform of the United Nations Security Council as stipulated in a Swahili consensus and a SATE declaration. We now need to move the process forward to achieve tangible results. Excellencies, in this regard, I express satisfaction with the African Union model on the reform of the UN Security Council as it aligns with the Eswatini Consensus and SATE Declaration. Africa must be represented in the UN Security Council by not less than 2 permanent seats with equal prerogatives and privileges of the permanent membership and 2 more permanent seats in the non-permanent category. The time is now for the genuine demonstration of the political will by the 5 permanent members on the UN Security Council to consent to the full reform of the Council to make it more inclusive, just, equitable, transparent, responsive, and democratic. We reiterate our demand to rectify the historical injustices against Africa, which should not be perpetuated any longer, and for Africa to be prioritized as a special case for adequate representation on the UN Security Council. We need to step up building the Africa we want in accordance with the vision of the African Union, cohesive, secure, prosperous, united, and speaking with one voice on all aspects of the UN Security Council reform process, thus fostering the maintenance of international peace and security for global development. As I conclude, we remain steadfast in our demand for the immediate full reform of the UN Security Council and for Africa to be adequately represented in both permanent and non-permanent categories in line with the common African position. Any further postponement of the Council's reform process undermines Africa's interests, the maintenance of international peace and security and global development. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the Vice President for her intervention and now invite the Foreign Minister of Algeria. You have the floor, please.
Excellency President Julius Madabio, Coordinator of the C10, Excellency President João Lourenço, Chairperson of the African Union, Excellency the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Ministers, Ambassadors, and distinguished delegates, as we mark the 20th anniversary of the Eswatini Consensus and the CERT Declaration, we stand together to take stock of 2 decades of tireless efforts by Africa to correct a long-standing historical injustice while reflecting on the path forward with a renewed determination and a clearer vision. Looking back at our collective journey, Algeria believes that our action has made a significant breakthrough in 3 aspects. First, Africa has succeeded in broadening the base of support for its common position. Today, our common position enjoys growing support among UN member states and interest groups. We take this as a token of recognition of both the legitimacy and the relevance of Africa's demands as articulated in the Eswatini Consensus. Second, Africa has also succeeded in fostering a global understanding of the particularity of its case. The reason being, on one hand, that our position embodies the collective will of the 55 member states of the African Union, and on the other hand, that it aims first and foremost to correct the historical injustice inflicted upon our continent. Third, and perhaps more crucially and decisively, Africa has proven to the world that it is ready to contribute its fair share to the collective security system with commitment, resolution, and dedication. Through the A3 mechanism, Africa has demonstrated that it harbors no ambitions other than to make a selfless contribution to enable the Security Council to fully assume its responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. While these successes are significant, the road to fulfilling our mandate remains long and fraught with challenges. The collective security system is going through an ever-deepening crisis. Its main tool, the UN Security Council, is in a state of almost complete paralysis. And more concerns are being voiced regarding this situation, and more appeals are being made to overcome this stalemate and to prevent it from deteriorating further and getting out of control. In view of this situation, our commitments are twofold. At the internal level, we must safeguard the unity that has been our greatest strength and most valuable asset. We have all seen how this paid off with the African Union becoming a full member of the G20. We should therefore give due consideration to the compelling need to put our house in order by getting all African countries recommit and re-engage under the umbrella of the African common position. At the external level, our committees ought to remain fully engaged in the intergovernmental negotiations process, IGM. Our roadmap should include engagements with all stakeholders to build on the progress achieved so far with the ultimate goal of garnering the widest possible understanding and support for Africa's legitimate aspirations and fair objectives. We are indeed duty-bound to remain faithful to our common position because it is sound, because it is fair, and because it is fully responsive to our collective concerns and interests. This is, in our view, the only way forward to ensure that our collective voice paves the way toward promoting a healthier multilateral system grounded on the rules, principles, and ideals enshrined in the UN Charter. I thank you all.
I thank the Honorable Foreign Minister for his intervention. I now call on the Honorable Foreign Minister of Congo to take the floor. You have the floor, please.
Merci, Excellence.
Thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Your Excellency, Lorenzo, President of the Republic of Angola and current chair of the African Union, the chairperson of the Commission, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'm speaking on behalf of His Excellency President Denis Sassou Nguesso, who mandated me to represent him here. Before I go forth, I would like to commend your personal commitment in the untiring promotion of the interests of our continent. This commitment is further strengthened today through this meeting at a time when Africa is taking up resolutely the challenge of being involved in global governance so as to assume its full responsibility in the Committee of Nations. increasingly we are witnesses to changing geopolitical situations, and this has called on us to embark upon a reform of the Security Council. We can also bear witness of the fact that the Security Council has found it very difficult to resolve some crucial and urgent security issues in an equitable way. Hence, the question that will legitimately come to our minds is that of knowing whether a wider representation within that body would not lead to greater efficacy of its work. And it is our conviction that an expansion that takes into consideration the size and the role of Africa in this context, taking into consideration the representation of the continent in this body will be most adequate. We believe that 2025, which is also the 20th anniversary of the Eswelni Consensus, as well as the CERT Declaration, and also the anniversary of the United Nations, the establishment of the United Nations, all concur to require us to reconsider this situation and embark on the reform that we thought of during the Pact of the Future. It is necessary to reform the Security Council, and this has been more evident in the current geopolitical situation. And in this debate, Africa has always sought to promote greater dialogue, expanding it to different interest groups and stakeholders. And this is why we also have relations with the 5 permanent members. And we do hope that in the context of this celebration of the 20th anniversary, we will be able to re-energize the multilateralism, particularly for the benefit of Africa in this context where the greater part of issues dealt by the Security Council concern Africa. Thank you for your attention.
Monsieur le Ministre.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your statement.
Call on the Foreign Minister of Zambia to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and Coordinator of the AU Committee of 10. Your Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and Chairperson of the African Union. Your Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, Chairperson of the African Union Commission. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this very important discussion on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, who has mandated me to deliver this statement on his behalf. Allow me at the outset to join delegations that have spoken before me to thank the coordinator of the C10 for convening this important engagement to commemorate 2 landmark milestones in the ongoing pursuit of equitable and effective reform of the United Nations Security Council, the Eswelni Consensus and the CERT Declaration. These historic instruments stand as a testament to Africa's unwavering commitment to global peace, security, and the principles of justice and fairness within the international system. Your Excellencies, the Eswini Consensus and the CERTA Declaration adopted by the African Union in 2005 embody the collective African voice demanding meaningful reform of the Security Council. These instruments underscore the continent's firm stance on expanding both permanent and non-permanent membership to better reflect the geopolitical realities of the 21st century and to ensure Africa's rightful representation and influence in matters of international peace and security. The committee's tireless efforts to build consensus among all UN member states reflects Africa's dedication to constructive dialogue, inclusivity, and multilateralism. We reiterate our commitment to a transparent, accountable, and representative Security Council which can effectively address the complex security challenges facing our world today. Your Excellencies, while we acknowledge the slow pace of the intergovernmental negotiation process, we must also recognize that the geopolitical dynamics surrounding the Security Council reform remain complex. Yet we cannot afford to be complacent. The time has come for us to reinvigorate our strategy, particularly how we engage with our P5 counterparts and the other influential stakeholders. To this end, allow me to highlight 3 key approaches as recently affirmed at the 13th C10 ministerial meeting held in Lusaka in June this year. 1. Enhancing high-level political engagements. We must scale up direct dialogue at the highest political levels with our counterparts, the permanent members of the Security Council and other strategic actors. Our engagements should translate into tangible political support for the common African position. 2. Leveraging multilateral platforms. Africa must continue to use its collective influence in multilateral forums, including the African Union, the Non-Aligned Movement, and the G77 plus China, to build broad-based coalitions that support our call for a fairer and more representative council. 3. Strategic communication and diplomacy. It is imperative to recalibrate our diplomatic messaging. We must assert clearly and consistently that Africa's demand is not a favor, but a matter of historic justice, sovereign equality, and global legitimacy. Africa's 54 member states represent more than a quarter of the UN membership, yet remain without permanent representation. This status quo is neither tenable nor justifiable. Your Excellencies, as we commemorate this 20th anniversary, let us renew our unity of purpose and sense of urgency. The Eswini Consensus remains our guiding framework. Let us guard it jealously, promote it proactively, and implement it strategically. We owe it to the generations before us and the future of Africa to ensure that Africa is not just present at the table of global governance, but is a permanent, influential voice in shaping the decisions that affect our continent and the world at large. Your Excellencies, I thank you.
I'm glad for you and me. Komon-Tok, oh yeah, we did. For the future, we did pave the way. Komon-Tok, ooh. Oh, Komon-Tok. We did talk and right, we did talk and clear. From Sierra Leone to everywhere, oh yeah. Komon-Tok, come make me hear. From the streets of Freetown to the world beyond, we dey yarn about the things we dey hold strong. Political talks, we know go shy. Migration stories should know go die. Entertainment, we go dance to the beat. Tell town well-being, make we rise from we sit. It's not a platform, we go speak the truth for the young and the old. That we voice we do. Ooh, Komon-Tok, you go hear we loud. We no go hide, you go make me proud. From Salon to the world, we dey stand tall. Come here we are. Oh yeah, we measure. for Komon-Tok. Nice to be with a young and care for you and me. Komon-Tok, oh yeah we did. For the future we pave the way. We talk about the health, we need them for survive. Make the system better so we people could thrive. Entertainment, they speak the music, the flow. But we still go on the things we need to know. Political leaders, make when I hear the cry. We could talk, come here, no we know go lie. Now Komon-Tok, we dey stand for the truth. Make we rise for the sake of the youth. Ooh, Komon-Tok, you gon' hear we loud. We no go hide, you gon' make me proud. From salon to the wall, we dey stand tall. Come here, we